What made Samira's disappearance so concerning?
It was very unusual for Samira not to speak with her family.
There was actually quite a few calls between Samira's phone. I would call a mystery number.
He was a handsome young man, and she felt like she could have a future with him.
He had gone to prison actually for battering her.
They discovered that he had moved out of the apartment and was no longer living there.
I'm investigating a missing person, and they seem to think that they're in the past tense.
So what were you thinking when you saw him on video?
It was certainly kind of one of those aha moments.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's Crime Exposé takes us to Pensacola, Florida, home of the Navy's famous Blue Angels training squadron. The military city became the backdrop of a terrifying mystery when a single mother vanished without a trace. It was the final call she made that would ultimately unravel secrets of a twisted crime. October 31st. While most people were out enjoying Halloween, the Watkins family was at home in a state of panic. 25-year-old Samira had been missing for a couple of days, and they knew they needed help finding her. Who called the police?
Sylvia Watkins actually called the Pensacola Police Department and requested an officer to make a missing persons report.
Pensacola 911, where is your emergency?
We want to report a missing person.
Who is she?
It's my sister.
How old is she?
She's 25.
And what is her name?
Samira Watkins.
The last time the family saw Samira was on Thursday, October the 29th, around 10 p.m.
Samira had come home from work, was going to see her boyfriend, was supposed to return home after that, and then never was seen or heard from again.
Sylvia said the family realized Samira hadn't come home when Samira's 4-year-old son woke up the next morning asking for his mom. She tried calling and texting but got no response. By Friday evening, she and another sister drove over to the apartment of Samira's boyfriend, but Samira's car wasn't there and no one was home. By the next morning, it was clear something was terribly wrong. What made everybody in the family so concerned?
It was very unusual for Samira not to speak with her family. She was very close to her sister and her siblings, and she also had a very young son.
Samira's son was the world to her. She was raising him alone and trying to give him the best life possible.
She was really trying to do her best to make a good future for herself and her child. She was a manager at a local fast food restaurant here in Pensacola. She was attending college to be a dental assistant.
Investigators put out a BOLO, or be on the lookout, for Samira's car and requested her phone records. Family had said Samira was headed to the apartment of her boyfriend, Ricky Littleton, when she vanished. Police learned Ricky was a naval officer that Samira had met 4 months earlier.
He was a handsome young man, and she felt like she could have a future with him.
She thought that he would be a good role model for her child. He has a good job. He kind of checked all the boxes, so to speak.
Detectives wanted to speak with Ricky Littleton. They went to his apartment only to find it empty.
When law enforcement responded to Ricky Littleton's apartment, they discovered that he had moved out of the apartment and was no longer living there.
The discovery of the vacant apartment only deepened the mystery of Samira's disappearance. Police searched the apartment but found no sign of blood or foul play. Investigators were now even more determined to track down Ricky. They found his cell phone number and called him.
When law enforcement got in touch with Ricky Littleton, he had no idea where Samira was. The last time he had seen her was on a Wednesday before she was reported missing.
Ricky said he was positive He had no plans with Samira on the 29th since he spent that entire day and night packing up to move to a house on the base the next day. He agreed to come in for questioning. As detectives waited for him to arrive, Samira's phone records came back. It showed her last call was made on the 29th at 10:37 p.m. after she left her home. Surprisingly, the number she called wasn't Ricky's.
There was actually quite a few calls between Samira's phone and what I would call a mystery number. It was kind of like this number that we didn't know whose number it was, and her family didn't know. But there was a lot of calls there on her last days alive between the two.
Police now wanted to know who Samira had been talking with the night she went missing, and wondered if that person had something to do with her disappearance.
He had gone to prison actually for battering her.
Police were on the hunt for the unknown person Samira had called right before she went missing. Her family offered detectives a name: William Peters, Samira's ex-boyfriend and the father of her child. What made them think that he might have been involved in her disappearance?
And there ended up being a domestic violence incident between the two of them that caused him to actually go off to jail for some time.
Peters had broken into Samira's home, attacked her, and kept her from leaving the house for days. He was convicted of battery and false imprisonment. He served time, but got out early.
And he had actually been released from prison not too long before Samira went missing.
Investigators learned Peters was back in Pensacola, and they confronted him about Samira's disappearance. He denied any involvement and offered police an alibi.
Not too long after William Peters was released from jail, he started working for a overnight cleaning crew, and that's where he said he was. He was at a certain location cleaning.
Detectives spoke with his manager and co-workers who verified where he was that night. They then asked him for his cell phone number.
The last number that Samira was in contact with was not the phone number of William Peters.
With Peters crossed off the suspect list, detectives turned their attention back to Samira's boyfriend and learned he had a secret that he hadn't originally shared. Ricky Littleton wasn't his name. It was actually Zachary Littleton, and he was a married man.
Zachary Littleton's wife and his child were due to transfer to the Pensacola area on November 6th.
The timing of his family's arrival and Samira's disappearance seemed a little too coincidental. And then Samira's sister dropped another bombshell. Samira had just learned she was pregnant.
She was excited. She was looking forward to having this child and raising it with Zachary Littleton.
Okay, all right. You'll have a seat here. I'll be right back, okay?
Detectives had a lot of questions for Zachary Littleton when he finally came in for an interview. From the beginning, it was clear he was trying to downplay his relationship with Samira.
Wasn't really a relationship, we were just friends, that's what I thought it was. So maybe I did some things, I said some things that probably made her believe that we was in a relationship, but I didn't see it that way.
Did your wife know that you were talking to this girl?
No.
Okay. Would that be a problem if she knew that?
No, because she knew I have a lot of friends.
All right. Did you have any kind of a relationship with Sammy that was more than just friends?
No.
You know, I'm investigating a missing person, and they seem to think that they're in the past tense.
The detective knew he wasn't being honest and tried to earn his trust.
I want you to feel free to tell me everything without you worrying about getting in trouble from your wife or getting in trouble at work. But understand that we're looking into this case, and I really need to know the exact extent of y'all's relationship.
Okay, we had sex once or twice.
Okay. Is she saying that it was your baby?
She had never said it was my baby.
Littleton insisted that the last time he saw Samira was on the 28th when she showed up at his apartment unannounced. He said she knew he was married and he had already told her things had to end.
She's like, we need to talk. I said, what are we talking about? I told you that my wife was coming, so what we was doing is over with. You know, you good people, but ain't nothing else between me and you. It was good while it lasted, and you knew it from the gate. You knew it from the beginning that you weren't gonna be the woman in my life.
It really didn't offer any real thoughts on where she could be, didn't offer any assistance. He actually just wanted to get the interview done and leave.
With no evidence to suggest a crime had even taken place, Zachary Littleton was free to go home. But all that was about to change.
It was certainly kind of one of those aha moments.
For 4 days, the whereabouts of Samira Watkins had been a mystery. But on November the 3rd, a couple of jet skiers near the Pensacola Naval Air Station found a black duffel bag that had washed up on shore.
Sheriff's 911, where's your emergency?
We think we found a dead body. We're at the Navy Port right off Sunset right now. It's in a bag, like a big old bag you carry on a plane. It looks like it has blood over it, has a big old lock on it.
Upon closer inspection, they noticed that there were some flies on it. There appeared to be some blood.
When the sheriff's office got there and they opened it up, they found the body of a female inside that bag.
She was naked except for a bra, and she had duct tape completely wrapped around her face.
Detective Thacker went to the scene, knowing in his heart it was most likely going to be Samira Watkins.
We had her fingerprints already ready to go if in case we had found something that suggested foul play like this. So our latent print examiner was able to, right there on the spot, verify that was her.
The medical examiner determined the cause of death to be asphyxiation by suffocation. Samira had been murdered. During the autopsy, the medical examiner noticed that she only had one earring in her ear. Why was that something they noticed?
Maybe during the struggle or something, it had been ripped out, something like that.
Samira's sister was positive that when Samira left the house that night, she was wearing both earrings. A check of the surveillance video from Samira's workplace on the 29th also showed her wearing both. So police looked inside the duffel bag for the second earring, and although they didn't find it, they discovered something else.
There was at least one paper towel that had a very unique design pattern on it, had some flowers, maybe some birds. There was a Clorox wipe.
While Samira's family mourned her loss, the story of her murder became big news around the area. 2 days after her body was discovered, someone reported seeing Samira's red Ford Taurus in a driveway of a vacant property. In the glove box was a letter from her doctor.
And it was a letter basically confirming that she was pregnant and congratulating her. And it was dated just before she went missing.
Detectives had their suspicions about who was responsible, but they still needed to figure out who the mystery person was that Samira had called the night she was murdered. What did detectives find out about that number?
It was a track phone or a throwaway phone.
Police were able to trace the phone to the location where it was purchased, and they learned that the person who activated it was none other than Zachary Littleton. Everything he told them had been a lie, and now they had enough to get a search warrant for his home to see if he was hiding any evidence there. As soon as they arrived, they saw some familiar-looking items.
We found the matching paper towels. It was an exact match to the pattern. I believe that Littleton had that same roll of paper towels and used them and tossed one of them in the bag. He had Clorox wipes there at his house, consistent with the one we found.
But there was more. When investigators looked in Littleton's bedroom, they were shocked when they discovered Samira's missing earring inside a plastic bag.
It appeared that during the murder at the apartment, the earring did come out, and that Littleton locked the earring into a bag, and he moved that thing right over to the new house.
What was your reaction when you saw that earring?
I knew we had the right guy, and it was just further strengthened. When you think about it logically, there's not a lot of ways for him to have that earring except to be involved. I mean, it links him to the whole thing.
But investigators wanted even more. They pulled Littleton's cell phone records, and it showed he had been away from his apartment just hours after Samira disappeared. Police theorized it was during that time that he dumped Samira's body and car.
We know pretty much everything he did that night, but one of the pieces of the puzzle that's missing is how did he get back home?
Detectives called the cab companies in the area and caught a huge break.
They discovered a pickup for a person named Zach at a Waffle House that was approximately a mile from where Samira's car was found.
The Waffle House had a camera, and at 4:20 a.m., it captured Zachary Littleton walking in with Clorox wipes in his hands. When you saw the video, what was your reaction?
Oh man, I was giddy. I didn't see how, at that point, with everything else, I mean, that whole case was put together.
Zachary Littleton was arrested and charged with first-degree murder of Samira Watkins. As Zachary Littleton sat in jail awaiting trial, investigators learned the dark truth about what he was thinking in the days leading up to Samira's murder.
When Zachary Littleton's computer was seized and searched, law enforcement found searches on there for how to cause an abortion, what can cause an abortion. There were also searches for bodies in landfills, searches for what speeds up human decomposition.
So what was the motive for all of this?
This was a military member who had committed adultery, which can get him in trouble with the military. He also had a wife and a child that were getting ready to move to Pensacola. And also he had a female pregnant that he did not intend carrying on a relationship with. So those things combined were presented as the motive for the murder of Samira Watkins.
On June 30th, Zachary Littleton was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His monstrous attempt to cover up an affair not only ruined his life, but left Samira's young son without a mother and his own child without him. The devastating case of Samira Watkins, a pregnant mother brutally murdered, underscores a grave reality. Homicide is a leading cause of death amongst pregnant women in the United States. And while no advice can assure that you will be safe 100% of the time, here are a few tips that could help. If you ever feel threatened or unsafe, act on your instincts. Your intuition is a powerful tool in identifying potential dangers. Contact emergency services immediately. Your safety must always be the foremost priority. Engage with support groups specifically designed for pregnant women or those facing domestic violence. These groups provide practical advice, emotional support, and a vital sense of community. And for those experiencing abuse, immediate assistance is available. Call 911 or reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE for confidential support and resources. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For all of us here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.